Hello again, everybody, and welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for joining us again today. Well, today we're going to be having a quick look at the CS by Staccato. If you haven't heard of Staccato, you're missing out because they make some of the finest handguns for both duty and defense, competition, and for carry. I've been waiting on the CS because it's basically a perfect size for me for the capacity and features that it has to offer. And I'm going to explain all of that in just a minute. Alright, once again, welcome back. Thanks for being with us today. If this is your first time coming to the channel, or if you've been watching our videos and just haven't had the chance before now and you like our content, please consider subscribing. You can locate that subscribe button in the lower right hand corner of your computer screen there. Or if you're on a mobile device, you can just scroll down below the video and subscribe that way. Don't forget to hit the bell icon. It'll let you know whenever we do something new. It's a simple thing, but it helps out a whole lot, and we really appreciate it. So, Staccato. So, what's the deal with Staccato? Okay, well, I'll explain a few things, because the first thing people invariably ask is they see 2011 on the gun, and they want to know what that's all about. Well, basically, if you look at a 1911 and say a Staccato 2011 here very closely, this is not a true 1911 because of some actual changes to the gun frame and things that don't make it exactly a 1911. And they've actually patented 2011 as the name. So they put obviously some serious planning into how that was all going to go down. But if you look at it, the major difference is a typical 1911 has got a one-piece frame, and you got your grip panels that just go on the side of it. On this 2011, it actually has a polymer grip section that attaches to a steel or aluminum frame module. And so they say the advantage to that is it transfers a lot of energy through the polymer, and so you don't feel as much of that. It also allows you to have different grip sizes, which is something you don't typically do on 1911. All the stuff you're going to get in this line are going to be 9mm. They have done some limited calibers for like law enforcement contracts, but everything you see is going to be a 9mm based product as far as the common purchase assortment. So anyway, we always like to do a little comparison here, and I talked about how this size was going to be appealing to me, and I'll kind of show you why. As far as 1911s, I don't carry typically a 1911 because even my smaller ones, the size and the weight just generally doesn't work for me. But there is one that I do carry, and I think it's the exception. That is my Kimber Ultra CDP2 here. And this is a fine handgun. Now, of course, this is 45 ACP. So calibers aside, basically what I'm talking about here, I always do a comparison because I always want to kind of talk about size and weight. Okay, and it does make a difference. Because when you compare these, this Kimber is a 3-inch barrel. And, of course, the Staccato is a 3.5-inch barrel. 45, 9mm. So, of course, the Staccato is going to have it beat on capacity, things like that. We'll go over that during the features. But the main thing I want you to look at here is just the size. Because the Staccato is not that much bigger than this Kimber. It's really not. It's just a little bit longer, you can see. You know, it's very similar dimensions in the trigger guard. It's got just a little bit slightly bigger grip, you can see. You've got just about this much more grip on the Staccato. But if you look at them side by side and look at the thickness, these guns are very, very similar all the way around. And you can see ultimately you've got just a little bit more grip on the Staccato, but not much. And of course the main reason I make this kind of comparison is because the Staccato is actually a couple ounces lighter than the Kimber. And I can carry this with no problem. Now, obviously, you're going to have that offset when you have the gun loaded because you carry more ammunition in this one than you do in the other one. But if I can comfortably carry this gun, I know that I can comfortably carry this one because it's already a couple ounces lighter before it's even loaded. And that's always important to look at that first, because obviously primarily we're looking at all these handguns as potential carry options. And the lighter it is and the easier it is for you to manage the bulk, the bigger chance that you'll actually carry it. Well, let's jump right into the features here. And of course, before we do, we're going to take just a moment to thank our friends over at Don's Weaponry for providing us this absolutely stunning example of the Staccato CS for our tabletop review today. Don's Weaponry is a huge supporter of firearms safety and education, and we can't thank them enough. So, of course, first thing we're going to do here is remove our magazine here. Let you see that the firearm is empty and totally safe. And we can start having our discussion here on the different features. Now, the first thing I want to talk about, since we have the magazine out, is if you look here really closely, you'll see that's 16. So 16 plus 1. Now, once again, we talk about differences between 1911 and 2011. Well, obviously, typically, your 1911s are going to be single stack, and they're going to be lower capacity as a result. And of course, 9mm is a smaller cartridge, so between it being a double stack and being a 9mm cartridge, you can get a lot more in there. So 16 plus 1 is the capacity. So looking across the top of the firearm here, you've got your rear sight, which is your metal sight with the notch, and then you have a fiber optic front sight. Now, one thing to take note is that you can do a lot of customization through Staccato. When you go to their website, if you order there, or you can order through a distributor, like Don's, and they can help you make those selections, but there's a lot of different type of enhancements you can get between the guns, more than I can possibly cover here. So just check that out if you want something custom. Now, these are optics ready. You can see here it's got the movable plate, and they are set to accept a number of common optic platforms. You can see the work on the barrel here. Very nice. It's these little details you're going to find on this handgun. The serrations, really excellent work. I mean, there's a lot of very fine detail that's gone into this. Of course, this is, obviously it's not 1911, but it does have some of the feel and shooting similarities to a 1911, such as it is a single action. So you do have to, pull the hammer back and pull the trigger in order to fire. And of course, you have your grip safety. So you have to do all that together. Now, like a regular 1911, of course, you're going to have your safety here. And so a gun like this, typically people who carry concealed or otherwise will carry this cocked and locked in this configuration. And so this is definitely something you can do that with. Your trigger guard down through here, you can feel where this changes from metal to your polymer module. This part of the gun right here, that's all polymer. That feels very good, though. It's a very good sized trigger guard you can get into. You can see the flat skeletonized trigger. Now, these triggers are set between 4 and 4.5 pounds, which you're going to find is a really good weight for a gun that you want to do rapid shooting with. And this certainly meets that. We'll talk about that in a minute. Of course, the magazine release here, it's pretty good size. Normally when I see a magazine release that sticks way out like that, I get concerned. But when you have your hand in this grip configuration, a two-handed grip, it doesn't get in the way at all. As a matter of fact, I don't ever feel like I'm on top of the magazine release, but yet it's right there ready to drop that mag whenever you're feeling like it. Of course, showed you the grip safety a moment ago. You got some pretty good texturing here on the front and on the back and on the sides. And of course, you have that mag well there that's flared for easy insertion of your mags. And the magazines have all got these little ridges, okay? So if you need to strip the magazine out, you've got a little gap there where you can do it. So it looks and feels a lot like a typical 1911. And of course, as we said, there are some slight differences, mechanical difference in the way it's made and with some of the materials. And but once again, you'll find that it shoots just as well or maybe better than a lot of these 1911s. Well, an easy way to spend an afternoon with a smile on your face is to take a Staccato handgun to the range. And the CS is no exception. Now, I often worry when they make a smaller version of a really good shooting gun if you're going to lose some of that capability in the smaller gun. You don't have anything to worry about with CS. This gun, I like guns that I can shoot. I don't shoot ridiculous when I practice, just rapid fire, because to me that's very rarely going to be... there may be some situations, but realistically, shot placement, careful shot placement, to me tends to win the day over just rapid fire spray and pray. But if you like to shoot rapidly, you can certainly do it with the Staccato. And these are very flat shooting guns. Getting back on target is so easy. And, and one of the differences that I've noticed between these Staccatos, and it could have something to do with the fact that they're 9mm and they're engineered a little bit different than some of your other 45s, is that I haven't really seen the jamming problems and peakiness finicky with ammo like I've seen with a lot of 45s. Now, I've been pretty lucky. I don't really have a single 1911 that has had just chronic problems with feeding ammo. Now, I know some people that they talk about various models. I have a friend who has several Springfields that has said they won't chamber certain hollow points correctly and that type of thing. I haven't had any experience with that, not in my Springfields, my Rugers, Colts, or anything. And maybe I've been lucky, but I know I've heard of it happening. It's definitely not been a problem with this. So you can take whatever flavor you like, but I always like to take at least some basic range ammo, either the S&B or the PMC here, a little of both. These are both 115 grain, so they're great target rounds. And then, of course, no gun that I test is ever going to not face the SIG V-Crown Challenge. I always shoot both the 124 and the 115. I just like to see the differences and what the final accuracy is, because it tends to vary. The 115, by and large, I tend to shoot better, and this is just me shooting it better. I'm not saying it's a better round. But if I shoot, a box of each, and let's say I shoot a box of the 124 Spear Gold Dot, and then I turn around and shoot a box of the 135 Critical Duty. Well, if I shoot all four of these and consistently everything out of the 115 grain box is better pattern closer to the middle, well, that means that that's the round I should probably use. And once again, the 115 seemed to win the day. Although the 124 wasn't bad. I just seemed to shoot that 115 grain V-Crown really, really well. And I like it. But the bottom line is, they're not just good-looking guns. They're not just great shooting guns. They're mechanically sound. They're very well made. And, of course, if you ever have any issues, Staccato does a really good job with customer service and taking care of business. So if you want something that shoots really well, something I would definitely trust my life to, I'm pretty impressed with the Staccato CS. So what's it like to carry the Staccato CS as your carry gun? Well, some of you are going to grumble about this, I know, because anytime I pull out a sticky holster, there's some of you that just can't stand the whole concept. But I did not have time to get a custom holster to match this particular gun, but I still wanted to carry it. And you can still carry a gun like this perfectly safe and something like a sticky, okay? You just had to have the right fit to where everything is covered and protected like it should be. And that can go in the waistband. That can go in the front, it can go in the side, and go wherever you want to. Now, this is a little bit bigger than what I would do for pocket carry. And as a general rule, I don't go too much larger than what you see right here to even use a sticky holster. These are primarily for smaller guns for me. But once again, this is one of my smallest 1911s, and I carry it in a sticky very similar to that sometimes, and I don't have any issues. The main thing about carrying in a sticky is that when the gun gets to a certain size and certain weight, as good as sticky is, I start questioning whether I am confident that that'll stay put in the waistband, especially if there's any action, if you're moving around rapidly or something like that. But all things being equal, the Staccato being very comfortable and being a lot lighter than I thought it would be, it was very, very easy to carry in the waistband. But of course, if I was going to carry this as my regular carry gun, I absolutely would not carry it like this all the time. That's just for me to try it out. I definitely would look at a custom, Kydex rig, probably something like a crossbreed that has the horsehide backing. I've used many of those in a lot of different guns. Been very happy with them. But anything with really good retention is going to be a good, something with dual clips, that type of thing. So with the right kind of holster, I think you could almost forget about the weight of the gun because it's very, very light and it's very comfortable. So overall impressions of the Staccato CS. Well, if you want a gun that shoots just fantastic, that's got good features, that's made really well, that you can customize, that's got, everything that you would expect on, say a high-end 1911, well, you've got it here with the Staccatos. They're just really, really good handguns. Now, I should mention, and this is where you'll definitely lose some people, these are not cheap. I try not to focus exclusively on price because I don't think that's the most important thing, especially when you're talking about a gun that's for self-defense. But, a gun like this, these start, around the $2,500 mark. And they can be more expensive depending on what you do to them. Now, if you're used to buying high-end 1911s or really a lot of other high-end guns, then $2,500 probably doesn't seem like much to you. And, I don't mind saving to get something nicer. I would rather buy one really nice gun than 3 cheap ones. So I might save my money to wait to get something like this if I had to make a choice as far as the money goes. So it's not going to be for everyone because I understand as much as anybody that, a lot of people just can't go out and pay $2,500 for a handgun. As much as they'd like to, they just can't do it. So I'm not saying you have to spend that much money to get a good handgun. But what I am telling you is that for your money, Staccato gives you a handgun that I definitely would trust my life to. And that means a lot to me. And there are very few handguns that are made that I'll say that about, just based on how well they're made and how well they shoot and how durable I think they are. But the Staccato has definitely got a place in that collection. So, if it's in your budget and you are fond of the way 1911 shoot and that type of configuration, I think this is definitely something that you would enjoy kind of continuing, that journey, because this is kind of an evolution off the 1911, if you will, with the changes that have been made. And just to see and feel how well these guns shoot compared to a typical 1911, it might be a good new experience for you. And like I say, it's a great defensive gun, whether you carried it or whether you kept one at home, or whether you just went out and used it for one of your favorite target guns. They're just excellent handguns. All right. Well, that is going to do it for today. As always, we thank you for being with us. We'll be back very soon with another video for you. So until that time, everyone, please stay safe and have a great day. Thank you.